So now you know the basics. Congratulations, you are one part done. There is a ton to do. But today we're going to be talking about when is the best time to go, because there are definitely some best times to go to Walt Disney World with so much going on through the entire year. So let's dive into it. First things first is the January to February time frame. Now, I must give you a quick warning. While yes, it is quite cooler and there are less crowds compared to some of the other months that we will mention, there is quite a lot of refurbishments. See, Disney knows that there are a ton of people who are going to come for the spring break time frame, which is one of the busiest times of year. We'll talk about that in a second. So, in preparation for that, plus the summer months, Disney likes to go ahead and do a lot of refurbishments just to keep things up to date and make sure nothing is like extremely broken. In saying that, most of the refurbishments, like extra coats of paint, making sure animatronics are working, making sure obviously the guest is safe, which happens on the regular basis, but they just fine tune and add some new things or enhance things during this time frame. So keep that in mind. However, a big plus of going during this time frame, again, other than the cooler weather and lower crowds, is the Festival of the Arts. Now, if you don't know, Epcot likes to have festivals. There's literally a festival going on the entire year. It's pretty awesome. Well, most of the year, except for a few days here and there. But for the most part, there's a ton of festivals going on. And during the January to February time frame is the Festival of the Arts, where different artists from around the world actually get to showcase their unique artwork, style, what have you, at Disney. Plus, there's tons of food and beverages and photo opportunities. And, of course, you get to walk around and see some amazing artwork, whether Disney or not. Most of it's now actually Disney art than it was in previous years. But this seriously is a fun festival if you are a huge art person. However, to that same point, the only real downside is the fact that there is a lot of refurbishments, like including Splash Mountain and Expedition Everest. Like, what? So keep that in mind. Now, the next time frame is the March to May time frame. More so end of March to late April is really when there is a lot of people, because spring break. A lot of people like to visit Disney World on spring break, and if this is the only time that works for you, you're just going to have to bear with the crowds, unfortunately, because it is quite busy indeed. However, there is a lot to do during this time frame, including, of course, the Flower and Garden Festival, which, similar to the Festival of the Arts, is a showcase of just different topiaries and flower displays and food and beverages that's kind of required for each one festival. Plus, on top of that, if you're actually around during the Easter season, they actually have a few Easter things going on during that time. Not a ton, but a decent amount more towards the week of Easter. However, the big thing to note, other than the crowds, is this time of year does start to warm up. So if you don't really want to be in the heat, I would not recommend going down in May or up till past August at this point, because it can get extremely hot. And granted, Florida is naturally a warmer place. It can get extremely hot, so keep that in mind. Next, on to the summer months, June to August. This is another busy time of year because a predominant group of people are off. Kids. The kids are back! The kids are back! And because of this, it means families are taking time to go down to Walt Disney World to celebrate whatever with their kids. This, of course, means you have a lot more crowds, but this also is a fun time of year depending on when you go. If you, of course, are there in June, you will get to catch the tail end of the Flower and Garden Festival. If you're there around mid-July, you get to, of course, experience the Food and Wine Festival, which goes all the way up till November. So there's a lot of time for food and wine. And if you can guess the name, there's a lot of food and there's a lot of alcoholic beverages. So keep that in mind. I would not go to Epcot on a Saturday, though, with your kids. That's a no. I would not recommend that. A lot of drunk people. One of the big kickers, again, along with the weather and the crowds, is there is a specific month that I would personally avoid if you're not big into crowds. That's July. Well, yes, of course, July has become the official start of the Food and Wine Festival. It is a very busy month because it's mid-summertime, which means you take a break for a little bit, unwind from school, you take your vacation, then you come back home and you get ready to go back to school. At least that's how it's kind of been insinuated. Plus, on top of that, 4th of July is very, very crazy for Disney. There is so many people that go. Don't get me wrong, it is a solid fireworks show. It seriously is awesome, but there's a ton of people. It would be like a once-in-a-lifetime thing if I was you and you were looking at doing something of that sort. Then, of course, towards the later part of the summer, in August, actually begins the fall season. Disney starts it a little bit earlier just to give more time for people to experience a spooky time of year. Yes, that means Halloween technically starts at Disney in very early August, which is pretty wild to think about. But it is seriously a fun time of year with spooks and scaries and some pretty awesome events. So August, I think, is a solid time of year. Don't get me wrong, it can be extremely hot during this time of year, but there's a lot to do. Next is the September to November time frame. This several month period is semi-slow. It's weird because you have like different tiers, like spring break and summer and Christmas or peak seasons. Then it's like the fall time frame is like right after that, and then it's like spring, then it's like winter. It's kind of how it works. But there is a lot of people who do visit during this time of year. If you want to avoid crowds, going the week after everybody gets back to school is actually a really good time because there's not a lot of people. Plus, it starts to get a little cooler. Not by much, but it does start to get a little cooler as you go through the fall season. Plus, on top of that, you are in peak Halloween time, which means a lot of fall fun, and of course, peak Food and Wine Festival, which is awesome. However, if you are a big Christmas person but you don't want to go in December, lucky for you, Disney starts Christmas in November. So, if you want to, of course, go and see all the unique stuff that's there for the Christmas time period, November may be the spot for you to go. I would avoid Thanksgiving though, that's another busy time. But overall, there is so much to do and see during the fall season at Disney. And the last month of the year is December. Peak Christmas, peak holiday season. There's a lot to do. Obviously, there's all the Christmas decorations that are up at all the parks. Plus, on top of that, Christmas shows, Christmas events, and of course, the Festival of the Holidays is also going on during this time, which is awesome. There's a lot to do there too. Plus, at the same point, this month has some cooler weather compared to, say, the earlier months, so you can get away with wearing just, say, a long sleeve t-shirt and jeans, or, a sweatshirt or whatever you want to wear. However, from like December 20th all the way to November, like January, probably not the greatest time to go because you have so many people. A lot of people actually like to visit Disney World on Christmas Day. Plus, on top of that, New Year's Eve is absolutely chaotic no matter what park you visit. So just keep that in mind as well. But overall, December is a magical time of year. Any time really is a magical time of year. Ultimately, it depends on what you want to get out of it the most. So, whether that is you want to experience the holidays, or you want to experience fall, or you want to experience a certain festival, or you just want to go on a straight Disney vacation and you realize maybe summer works out the best and you just want to figure out which month works out for you. Again, it's totally your decision on what works best for your family. At the same time too, if you feel at all like this is too much, I cannot handle it, there is a ton of different travel agencies available for you, and you don't have to pay them. Here's the thing. Disney pays travel agencies to book Disney vacations. So all you pay for is your Disney vacation, which is awesome. So keep that in mind. There's stuff like Mickey Travels, not sponsored by the way, but I've heard they're really, really good at helping you book a Disney vacation. Plus, they'll look out for deals and things you want to do. They can accomplish a lot more and give you a little bit more peace of mind instead of having to stress over all the details. However, if you are a very detailed person, stick around because our next episode will be talking about park tickets and park reservations, which is a little complicated. But again, it's ultimately whenever you want to decide that works best for your family or works best for you or your friends. So keep that in mind. I'll see you all in the next one. Have a magical day. Goodbye.